So now I'll discuss another type of local optimization, which is called peephole optimization. What is a peephole optimization? A peephole optimization is a pattern matching rule that has a pattern and a replacement. So for example, a pattern could be a set of instruction templates, I1, I2, I3, IN. It's a sequence of instruction templates. And then a replacement is also another sequence of instruction templates, J1, J2, Jn. The idea is that using this pattern comma replacement tuple, we can scan the code and see if this pattern matches with any existing code in the program being optimized. And if it does, then we can replace it with the replacement code. And this makes sense if the replacement pattern code is faster or in some sense better in terms of resource usage than the original pattern code. Traditionally, this kind of peephole optimization has been very successfully used on assembly code because at the assembly level there are all kinds of opcodes that are very esoteric in nature. So it's very corner case kind of opcodes. And when you generate code from your IR, then maybe you have missed out on those opcodes, and so these peephole optimizations can scan windows of your instruction program stream inside the program and see if any of these windows matches the pattern, and if so, then it replaces it with the appropriate replacement. So for example, here's an example of a peephole optimization. It says if you see a move of R2 to R1 followed by another move of R1 to R2, then you can just replace it with a single move from R2 to R1, because the second move in this case becomes a no-op, because at this point both R1 and R2 have the same value. Now this kind of instruction sequence can actually occur very frequently when you are generating code from IR to assembly, because because when you are doing register allocation and then you are assigning IR registers to assembly registers, then you have to emit code that is going to do this register naming and transfer of values from one register to another, or transfer values from register to stack slot and things like that. And so often you'll find that very closely located instructions which look like they're just moving registers back and forth. And in this case, you can just run a peephole optimizer that's going to just it's called a peephole optimizer because it just looks at a peephole of instructions, a small window of instructions, and keeps sliding down the instruction stream and checks for any instruction sequence that matches the pattern. And if it does, then it just replaces it with the replacement pattern. Now notice that this is a pattern because R1 and R2 are not actual registers. They're actually placeholders for any register names. So for example, this particular pattern, move R1, R2 and followed by move R2, R1, will also match something like move R3, R4 and move R4, R3, right? So even this would match this particular pattern because it's not the particular register names R1 and R2 that is important. It's just that there's some register R1 and there's some distinct register R2, and this is the form of computation that's happening. So it's a pattern of instructions that it represents, and the same pattern can match many different types of instruction sequences. Here's another example of a peephole optimization rule. It says add, immediate and update $R1, $R1I. So recall that this means that R1 is updated with R1 plus I. So I is added to R1. And I here is supposed to be an immediate value or a constant value. And similarly, the second instruction is add IU R1, R1J. That adds another constant J. Now both R1, I and J, these are just placeholders in this pattern, and these can match any register or any constant. For example, I can match in some constant and J can match some other constant. I'm not really specifying what constant it is. And I can replace it with a replacement which says add IU $R1, I plus J. Alright, where I plus J is also an immediate value, a constant value that can be just found by summing up the constants I and J with which they were pattern match. So for example, if I have a code which looks like add IU R3, R3, do this again, I'd add IU R3 and 3, and then I have add IU R3, it has to be the same register because it's the same R1 that's happening on both sides. And let's say I have 4, then this can be replaced with add IU R3 7. Okay, so notice that this particular transformation can be implemented by this particular peephole optimization rule. So a peephole optimizer is basically implemented as a database of peephole optimization rules like the ones that we have just shown you here. And then an optimizer that basically is going to scan the instruction stream to find some sequence of instructions that matches this pattern, and if so, it executes the corresponding replacement as shown in these examples. It turns out that many local optimizations can be cast as peephole optimizations. For example, you can cast algebraic simplification as a peephole optimization. You say if you see a multiplication by a constant and the constant is a power of 2, then you can change it with a shift. Or you can cast constant folding as a peephole optimization. You can say if these are the constants that are occurring. So for example, even this here is an example of a constant folding optimization. You can think of this particular optimization as an optimization of dead code elimination, where the second instruction is actually dead code because it doesn't really do much. Although when we defined dead code, it was a little differently. You can think of this as a second instruction as a no op that gets eliminated through this peephole optimization rule. But not all local optimizations can be cast as peephole optimization rules. So for example, let's look at copy propagation. So when we say copy propagation, then the copy the statement which says W equals X, which is a copy, can be a lot of distance away from the actual use of W. And so trying to cast it as a peephole optimization rule would require us to have a really large window of pattern matching rules that should match with that particular instruction stream. And that would be a little wasteful, right? Because let's say I have W equals X, then I have lots of instructions in the middle, and then I have something which is a use of X, so the X plus 1, right? Some V equals X plus, or V equals W plus 1. Then here I would want that the W here in V equals W plus 1 is replaced with X. But then to do this as a peephole optimization is really difficult because now I need to also have a pattern that not just matches W equals X and V equals W plus 1, but also matches all these instructions in the middle. And there can be a lot of different possibilities, permutations and combinations of what can appear in the middle. And so doing this as a peephole optimization may not make sense. So some optimizations lend themselves very well to be represented as peephole optimizations, and some other optimizations are better done algorithmically, like copy propagation as an example, or maybe even common sub-expression elimination. Notice that peephole optimizations, like all other optimizations that we have discussed so far, is also another type of local optimization. So we are really talking about optimizations within a basic block. Although there has been, this was the original notion of peephole optimizations, although there have been subsequent approaches that have done peephole optimization across basic blocks as well, although in limited scenarios. All right, so how do you apply peephole optimizations? Well, like local optimizations, peephole optimizations are typically applied iteratively or repeatedly. So you would just go through the instruction stream once and try to find instruction stream window of instructions that matches one of the patterns in your database. And if something matches, you do the replacement. And you keep doing this iteratively, because what can happen is that, let's say there was an instruction stream and there was some window which matched, right? Now, because of this match, there was a replacement, and because of the replacement, there was another new window that got created that can now get matched again, or maybe that window can be somewhere here, right? So there could be overlapping windows that start getting matched because of the previous replacement, and this can work both ways. Sometimes peephole optimizations can trigger more peephole optimizations in the next pass, in the next iteration, or sometimes they can preclude other peephole optimizations. Because of one peephole optimization, the other peephole optimization got disabled. And this is very similar to the kind of things that we have seen also while we were discussing local optimization. So, but people have worked on optimal application of peephole optimizations and things like that also. But the state of the practice is basically that you just apply peephole optimizations opportunistically wherever you find them, and you keep doing this either till you reach a fixed point, just like our local optimization algorithm, or maybe for a fixed number of iterations, or something, or any other metric that you want to use for your convergence criterion. Okay, so here are some more examples of people optimizations. So add IU R1 R2 0 can be just replaced with move of R2 to R1. So instead of doing an arithmetic, which is just going to do arithmetic with 0, and so unnecessarily turning on your arithmetic circuit, you just want to implement a move instruction. Or similarly, if you have a move R1 R1, you can just replace it with the empty sequence, which means just remove this instruction because it's a no op. There have been a lot of prior work on automatic generation of people optimizations, and that makes the whole idea of people optimizations even more attractive because sometimes they can be automatically generated, and so they don't have to be human manually codified. And the idea is to use enumerative or stochastic search techniques to automatically learn people optimization. Okay, sometimes these techniques are also called AI techniques or things like that. In fact, some of my own research has been in this space. Okay, so to summarize, program optimization is actually a term that is used to improve the program using some algorithms. Maybe they may be local optimizations or people optimizations. But the word optimization actually, I argue, is a misnomer. It's not, there's no attempt to actually try to find the optimal solution. So the word optimization is actually a misnomer here, but the word has caught on, and so we use it because of historical reasons. A better term would probably be program improver, because these algorithms, all they are doing is trying to improve the code based on certain patterns or algorithms, and they just stop when certain criterion holds, or try for some amount of time and then you give up or things like that. So there's no notion of optimization here. Although it's called optimization, what we're really doing is just trying to improve the code using some well-known patterns.